What's going on, people? It's Mr. Dole. I'm back. I don't know what Steve said, but I'm back for the podcast. I'm alive and well. How's everyone feeling about the new season coming again? And I hope, like I said, I'm back after a nice rest. If you are new to my channel, please do hit the like button, subscribe. If you know, I can't blame people. What's everyone been doing for the nice rest off? Right, let's get the panel in. We've got the good, the old, the ugly. People in the comments, who do you think who do you think I'm talking about and that. We've got Toffolo on the bottom corner as well. So um,
Yeah,
uh,
you got Harry Toffolo with us tonight. Hey!
we got Harry Toffolo, but yeah, it is what it is. Right, let's put the panel in. I think Moller's. Why's Moller got two? Moller, why have you got? What's he done there?
Right. Trusting on this.
Oh what? Right, let's start. Oh, where's Moller gone? Right, let's start with the Welshman. How do you Steve?
You're right, Ben. You're right, Des.
I'm good. I'm good. You, Steve?
Yeah, enjoying enjoying the break from the football. I know the Euros are on, but it's not quite the same, is it? But you know, pre-season be back soon, so
I don't know where Moller's gone, but I think he had two accounts. But next
I
up, we've
think
got
I think I think Harry Toffolo frightened him away. I think.
uh, if we get here he is. We've got the man himself, Des. How you doing, Des?
I'm all right. All right. Waiting for the football at the weekend. Not with too much excitement. But yeah, all right. Ready
Uh,
to talk about whatever's going on. What have you lined up
whatever's going
for
on.
us?
And the last but not least, I don't know where Moller went. But how you doing, Moller?
Yeah, not bad. I'm also like Des, looking forward to the watching the England game. It's not quite the same, but it kind of gets us through the summer, doesn't it? It's our
Yeah.
methadone to get us through our football
Uh,
fix till Forest come back.
Exactly. So that's what we're back again from now to May. I'm going to try and do loads of videos as well. So watch out for that. And people in the chat as well. What kits are me and Steve wearing? I've got them at home. Steve got the way. And you know what? Des and Molly didn't get the memo. They didn't get the memo. So it is shocking behaviour. But Des, use that cricket top.
I'm wearing a
Yeah.
retro kit, like you said.
Yeah. Oh, you're
I'm
wearing
wearing a
England.
retro kit, like you said.
Yeah. Okay. You're wearing the England top. But Des, is that cricket top?
It is, yeah.
It is worth, but like I said, people in the chat, what year was this kit and that kit? Get in the comments now. Right, before we do start, like I said, as you know, my friend and everyone's like friend Kevin Campbell passed away, and it was a sad day for everyone. And he was a person that was really close to Dev, and like close to everyone on this channel. And I want to say, but any comments as well? What's your favourite moment with Kev? Was it on watching him play for Forest on this channel? But yeah, we'll start that before that. But let's start with you, Des, the man himself, Kev. What did he mean to you?
A lot. And I think I sort of expressed it a little bit on social media, that I didn't try. I said on my social media, I met him as a fan, and he kind of left us as a friend, and that's the way it felt for me. I didn't shout too much about the relationship we had. I got a chance to speak to him when he came to Nottingham for that weekend when we spent a bit of time in the South Bank City and interviewing him at the ground, and he did a bit for my Do Daily channel and just sort of spoke on that level. And then ever since he sent me messages, perhaps just to measure the man, people telling all sorts of stories of how good he was with people. He just messaged me when someone was having a dig at me on Twitter, or when he seen I was might not be feeling great, or in the good times as well. When I got married, he sent a video and all sorts of things. And I used to get messages, and I didn't really like sending them back sometimes because I didn't want to be a fanboy. And he'd say, never mind that, but big man, just do it. And again, just humble and inspiring. Somebody like myself who breeds off positivity and tries to encourage people to do good things. rewatched the interview I did with him, the conversation around mental health, and it just inspired me all over again. So absolutely devastated when I heard it on that Saturday morning, and hearing some of the bits and bobs now as well, were a little bit shocking. So deeply missed, because it was just somebody who I kind of looked up to as a mentor in the end. I do a lot of that kind of thing myself, but this guy was encouraging me to be more confident and more sort of on it with things. And when people were having a dig or being negative, he'd just say, "Don't let the bastards grind you down." And it was just that spirit to crack on and do what we had to do. So yeah, so much to thank him for, and just massive. Even though we didn't live in his pocket, left a massive hole in our lives a little bit.
I've just mentioned about the video you're doing. I have put the link in the description, so it is a very, very good video as well, bringing positive publicity. Kev was on it as well a lot of times. So if you do want to, please do watch it. Not if you do, go on, please watch it. The link is in the description as well. Steve, Kevin Campbell, like I said, what was your best memory of him on a Forest shirt?
Well, I never had the pleasure of meeting him like you guys did, but from a fan, some memories that stick out. His hat-trick against Coventry on the first game of the season, was it? Which would have been 96-97 season. Coventry, yeah. And he got injured then, didn't he? Which was a bit of a blow.
Yeah.
I was in that game. I was right in front of that hat-trick.
That was that bigger place, wasn't it? Highfield Road, the old Highfield Road.
Highfield Road. It was straight after your 96.
Yeah, that's right. Another goal that sticks out was just because of the dance he did with Van Hooijdonk, which I loved that partnership in the chap, which was Division 1 back then. There was a goal against might have been when we hammered Middlesbrough 4-0 in glorious sunshine. That was the game which I thought, we're going up here. And I think he scored in that game. It was just a celebration, and they played that kind of 90s dancey music, didn't they, over the PR system back then. And I just remember the two of them dancing to each other, and you could see the chemistry between the two of them. And that's it. Designated there. It was just like, with me at the time, I was like, what, 14, 15, 16, and I was really getting into Forest then, and I was just gutted that team got broken up, and Campbell was so vital. And obviously it's been well documented now what happened, and he's even said himself in podcasts is the way he was treated, the way he was just let go. And if we kept that partnership in the Premier League, that's I think them two would have ripped it up in the Premier League as well. It's just a shame that his Forest career came to an end like it did, because and it goes all the way back to that injury as well. I just felt, we had the one good season out of him, but I think take the injury away and the way he left, I think we could have had more with him in the Forest shirt. So that's my memory, Ben, and also he's obviously in other shirts he's given memory as well. Like Everton have been very, with their tributes as well. Everton fans love him. There's one video that went viral of their fans just swarming around him when he was going into a game. They really looked up to him as well. So yeah, it's just really sad. And obviously we've lost Chris Bart-Williams as well, in the space of a year. So that's two Forest 90s legends, and were apparently signed on the same day as well. Am I right there?
Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
That famous picture they had on the pitch.
And in that great retro Labatt's kit as well. Great photo in the sunshine as well. Looking happy, signed with Forest as well. But yeah, just sad, Ben, and like I said, just unfortunate, never got to spend time on here with him, or got to meet him in Nottingham and so on, and just really sad. That's all. And yeah, just my wishes go out to the family and friends of Campbell.
Last but not least, Murillo, I know you met Murillo when he came to the City Ground, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, football-wise, my favourite Kevin Campbell moment was that Reading goal away at Reading, that Elm Park, down to 10 men.
You can't talk about that goal.
Do you know what, Murillo, I spoke about that goal with him every time I met him.
Yeah, I love that he flicked on the ball to himself and just went through and scored. And it was at the away end as well. The way he just came, you saw him flick it on. He was running towards you, and you just knew he was going to score.
He
That's my favourite football memory because, like you say,
he set it out the post and it came in as well. He hit it with the outside of his foot.
Yeah,
brilliant.
But like I said, I think
it was just a fantastic goal from start to finish. Yeah, but from a non-footballing point of view, I think the thing that speaks volumes for me, from a personal perspective, because I'm sure everyone's got their own thing, and obviously I've met him a few times and spoke to him. Two little things. One, I think, although he came across and he was this super bubbly character and he had a great sense of humour, he was always on point with his analysis. He was a guy that kept calming us down. He was a guy who said, your home form is what's going to keep you up. When we first went on, all the things he said, and he said, you got to suffer, you're going to lose a lot of games. It's really, I remember him saying, it's very tough to get points away from home. He was absolutely on point, wasn't he? And he was good, hence why he got a job with Sky and whatnot. But the thing that stands out for me, my little lad Henry, he's now 10, obviously on the season ticket waiting list, been waiting now since he was 7, basically. But there we go. And when he met Kevin Campbell, he made such a fuss of him. I think he was 8 at the time, or 7. It was a promotion season, he'd have been 7. He made such a fuss of him and signed his hat for him. He's got his hat up in his bedroom. You ask my lad who his favourite Forest player is, and he still says Kevin Campbell. And I think that he's met other players and he's been he's met loads of them, luckily for him. But Kevin Campbell's the guy that had that impact. I think that speaks volumes to a 7, 8-year-old kid to have that impact 10 years after he finished playing as well. So a great loss.
Before we do, I'm going to have my little memory. I think the first day I met him, spoke to him, lockdown. I think Des will kept asking about it. The interview I did with him, I spoke to him for 1 hour before we even interviewed, just talking about Forest and everything. Then I did the interview with him for an hour. Then after that, I spoke to him for 2 hours, just talking about football, family, and everything. And since then, it was I'd like to say we're a fanboy. I'm a fanboy talking to this guy, and then the rest is history with Kevin. Like I said, I had a pleasure for all the times he's been on my channel. The amazing 3 days that we had with Des, it was like a stag do. 3 days with him. We did the thing on South Bank, the interview at the City Ground. That day was amazing, and I have the pleasure to have a connection with him, to be a fanboy, but as a friend as well. And it's going to be sadly missed from myself and everyone. But yeah, it was just a pleasure of meeting him on a friendship level as well. And I do appreciate Kev doing that for me and for everyone. Like I said, he went on Des's channel as well. And he's going to be sadly missed. And yes, I always love Kevin.
Yeah, but can I just, sorry, Ben, can I just say one thing? Obviously, like, you guys have met him. I just got these vibes off him, and you just answered the question, really. Like, he came across as a person, if you just sat down with him and he just talked football, and he'd have no worries about doing it. And, there's many professional footballers, they wouldn't talk to you about football because that's what they do day in and day out. They'd rather not talk about it. But Campbell came across as someone like that. And like you said, you sit down, chat 2 hours about football and other things, but he wouldn't mind talking about football. He just came across as a really humbled person like that and just talk about memories and Forest and so on. And yeah, he always had nice things to say about Forest as well. And like you said, he always kept those spirits up, and he's saying you get, even when our promotion season, you get over the line, I fancy Forest to do it. And then when we got promoted, and I just like to say that, that's all. He came across, even though like I said, never met him. So
do you know what was great, Steve? And I'll say this because I'm sure Dore will get what I mean. Is that he championed the underdog? He was there to support people who needed a bit of support. At certain times, but he took no bullshit either. Life standards was his thing. There was somebody who was late for an interview once, and he was not impressed. Not because it was a big thing, but he was just
Yeah.
not impressed, because you say something, you do something, people put themselves out, and so life standards again, just a sort of a great role model for anyone wanting to sort of battle the way to achieve something, but do it with a good standard as well. And I just think the way he sort of got behind Dore, myself to some degree, it just sort of and brought us all together as well. There's lots of football guys we met up with a couple of weeks ago. It was a big part of what they do, and he's kind of the centre point of all of this and the focal point who made it possible for a community to form. So there's on the back of what's happened, unfortunately, all the adversity, there's some kind of legacy there as well in our little world.
100%. But like I said, he was an absolute legend. And like I said, I always listen, and like I said, everyone will. But like I said, people after the stream, go and click on Des' interview. It was a fantastic interview. I still remember the day when Des did an interview with him, and Des phoned me and said to me, "Where's Kev?" I went, "What do you mean, where's Kev? He hasn't turned up." I went, "Des, you're talking bollocks." I went, "He hasn't turned up." I went, "No, Des, he's with you." I went, "No, he hasn't turned up." And then honestly, I heard the giggling in the background from Kevin. I mean, Des, you talk bullshit. Turned the phone around, and he was there with the biggest grin on his face, with his black hat, and yeah, it was such a he was a great guy. But like I said, he'd be sadly missed, and like I said, Kevin, always love you to bits. Right, people, let's talk about a few things. And today, we just announced that we are going to stay at the sick ground. So before we do that,
Surprise!
so let me get through the comments before we do talk about it. Because like I said, sorry people, like I said, I've had a good rest. I needed a rest. So yeah, Mohammed, I hope you're well, my friend. Kit, hey, how you doing? Colin, I hope you're well, my friend. Pete Walsh, hi, Dore, Desmond Mullins, Steve. How you doing? How is everyone? Razdad, evening all. Hope you're well. Really look forward to the new season. Razdad, legend. Where's your son? Where's Raz? Actually, he will be on my channel again, Raz. Another legend. Good evening, Mr. Dore. My Desmond Steve. Hope you're okay. I thought I'd tune in for a few minutes before I get the shower. Before I'm running earlier. I've got heavy rain for a few minutes. Is that motivation from Des and Marlon? Because I don't know if people know Marlon's been on the run. Des is giving some motivation and all that. So if people see on social media, I see Marlon's doing a lot of running. Thanks to Des. David, absolute legend. Hi Ben, super. Why? What? Wait, David, how does he get super Des and me and Steve don't? And Marlon, how does he get super Des? That's disgraceful, David. But we need to edit that.
I can vouch for Des. I can vouch for Des. He's been very super these last couple of weeks for me and my good wife.
Don't give Des a big head. Come on, David. Sort your life out, David. Come on. Paddy, how you doing? Paddy, I hope you're well, my friend. I know you messaged me saying when I'm coming back. I'm here now. I hope I'm now. Barnett, legend, went for a bike ride as well. So he's actually another legend. Another one. NFC 1065. Hi, glad you're back. Yeah, we're back. We're back. Nice with Ben. Recipe Kev. Thank you for the great memories. Yeah, absolutely legend. Thoughts, Melbourne wearing a festive shirt. Peter, don't get Marlo going. Don't get that's something we'll sort out later in the show. But don't get Marlo going. Don't get him going. DoreOntour, he's one of the thank you, Dan. Hope you're well, my friend. Super Des. Sorry, I'll get the right next time, Ben. David, you still haven't got it right. Stop giving the big head, man. Why can't you give us praise? Not been here for a while. But right, yes, people. People in the chat, how are you feeling about we are staying at the City Ground? I'll get the panel channel as well. And if anyone wants to do any super chats to my channel, please do. And if you want to be a member, just click on the members channel. Right, let me get last few, Des. How are you feeling about staying at City Ground?
Not surprised. I've been poo-pooing it for ever since it come out, but there's a little bit of me, just a little bit concerned. But it was always going to come to this, wasn't it? We knew what the situation was with the council. We knew there was a bit of cloak and dagger going on in the background, and things happening. But for me, not. And I don't want to sound like I throw my toys out the pram. And when I made the odd comment on Twitter, people were like, "Oh, well, some of the younger boys want to get into the grind and that kind of thing." You know, they just couldn't leave, could they? They just couldn't leave, because for me, it would just stretch. If anything's going to stretch my loyalty, it would be something like that, because it wouldn't be the what's ingrained in the club. Do you know, moving it 7 miles away from Derby, do you know, it would just be ridiculous. But that's not going to happen. So over the moon by the fact that they're going to be staying, but really, really unsurprised that it's come to this, and quickly as well in the end, hasn't it? You know, it hasn't lingered on too long, and hopefully they can get on with creating what we all know, creating a ground what's worthy of what happens in the city ground on a Saturday. You know, because that is what we're clinging on to, not nostalgia, not history, but right now. Do you know, the last 2 seasons, whenever there's been a big game and when the teams needed a bit of support, you know, not every single time, but 9 times out of 10, the crowd have done them pride as well. Do you know, whilst the players have been doing it on the pitch. And if you've not been there on match day, and I know some people who do this kind of thing haven't ever, you really need to get inside there and feel it, because it's a special place to be. And you know, I get to live it in it and amongst it, and just being in the area, feeling the build up. It's just a really, really special place. And if you took that out of Forest history, then it will be a sad day, wouldn't it? Thankfully, it's not going to happen, and hopefully, we can now establish a team that's worthy of thinking a lot further ahead. Because right now, the biggest thing for me right now was, let's get the team right, because we're going to have conversations about this, I guess. But we're still not an established Premier League team, so let's not start running before we can walk. We've had our fingers burnt with this before, haven't we? With big ideas and getting above our station and thinking we're bigger than we are. So let's establish ourselves. Let's get the team right. Let's get our head around PSR. You know, push up the league a little bit. No big expectations again, but let's make sure we're not in the same kind of problems financially and footballing wise. And then if it does come to that one day, you know, you have to take it as it comes, but not totem, for God's sake.
No, not totem. Not totem at all. Can't bother for the long distance of that. Marlo, do you echo what Des says about City Ground?
Yeah, all of it really. Like I live the other side of the river from Des, so I'm the same. And since I've joined up with Des's running guys, that final run back when you can see the world famous City Ground is motivating and stops you from wanting to stop and walk, and even though you feel like you're dying. And it is so special. And you know, as Forest fans, it's all about the City Ground, but it's that whole City Ground Trent Bridge vibe, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's something unique. I'm really pleased. I hope now they can crack on with the grounds, and my now 10-year-old isn't like 20 before he's finally able to get a season ticket or whatever, or membership or whatever, because you know the club's doing all this work on. And it's another issue, but this safe standing that's going in now in Germany. Safe standing is brilliant, isn't it? Because it increases the capacity. Here, it just increases how they can rip you off more. And not only that, they've cancelled all the stadium tours. So we had 9 days' notice of a cancelled stadium tour after booking 3 months ago. Never mind. But yeah, it's still the world famous City Ground. It's the only place I want to watch Forest play at home. So I'm delighted. Like Des hit the nail on the head. Totem must have been an empty threat, purely because 7 miles from that place down the road, we can't have that. Absolutely delighted that even though I will live this side of the river, I quite often make sure for the big games I end up walking across the bridge towards the game anyway, meeting mates in town or whatever, so I can have the walk across for a big game. Nothing comes close, does it?
No. Oh. Steve, do you echo what everyone says?
Yeah. There's been too many cases of teams leaving grounds and just going to fish bowls and these soulless grounds in it. You know, I get it that sometimes have to do it. Like we've had Reading, you know, they left their old ground to go to their stadium now, but you got to admit, we've been to these grounds and the atmosphere is not there. And this is what Everton fans are going to experience. They're going to lose all that when they leave Goodison Park. I'm glad we're staying where we are. I've been going for years. I don't go as often to you boys, but I've gone there enough to know the atmosphere, and it's a part of our identity and our tradition. You know, the City Ground is our place, and you know, I don't live in the area, but I know, you know, Nottingham is my second home, which I class. You know, I love the place. I love the City Ground, and I agree with the boys. It just wouldn't feel right moving to another place. City Ground is our place, and on match days, nothing beats it. Even in the week under the lights, it's just, you know, it is the 12th man, and yeah, when it's rocking, it's rocking. It does get toxic sometimes, like a lot of grounds do. But yeah, it's just that again adds to the atmosphere, and again, you just wouldn't have that going to. I'd rather see the City Ground developed and progress, and then become. You know, there are parts, we all know, the Peter Taylor stands and he's doing, even the owner knows that, we all know that. You know, it does look dated. You know, you go around the stadium and it just stands out. But now, like Des said, we start ourselves in the Premier League, build on the stadium. I just don't want to be one of them clubs who just go somewhere. Look at Bolton. Look, they can't even fill their ground. I mean, you know, it's just Huddersfield, another one. I'm not a big fan of these grounds. You know, they build them and they just look like, you know, even closer to home down here, I've had, you know, you've got Cardiff and Swansea. They left their grounds, Indian Park and the Vetch, and then their old school fans still moan about it now. They hate these new stadiums. You know, you lose a lot of your identity by leaving that home. And I'm just so glad we're staying where we are, because, yeah, I'd rather be at the City Ground any day of the week.
I think just to balance it up, Dore, as well. Do you know, like when we want to stay there, I think everybody's realistic enough to know if we're in the top four of the Premier League, or you know, if year on year, or we get into the top half, it's not beyond all realms of possibility that we would have to move. You know, but it doesn't have to be that far as well. I think Steve made the point about Everton, and they might not be able to recreate the atmosphere. Probably not. But the one thing about Everton, and you see with Leicester, who've not actually done a bad job of it for all what we think about them, you know, they've just moved slightly. You know, they're still in town. They're still in the place where the core support is, and sort of ingrained in the city that they're part of. He also mentioned Bolton, which is about 15 miles away by a motorway, you know, and Reading, and it really rips out any sort of connection. And when it's good when it's good, but when it's not good, it's bloody horrendous. You know, sat in grounds like Coventry when there's more Forest fans than Coventry fans and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, it gets a little bit embarrassing, and the worry is that could possibly happen. So I think we like, it's not our choices, but it could happen. But if it ever did get to that at some point, let's make sure it's somewhere in the city. And I know there's been numerous conversation about possible land and not having land. If you want something to happen, you make it happen. You know, look, Everton's is built on water. You know, it's built on a man-made island.
It's coming out of there, isn't it? Looking at the pictures.
Yeah.
Oh,
but yeah, it's good that
the pictures of Everton. We've got 3 sides of water.
I can't believe it. When you walk past it, it's like, you see the water making. Is that a water? Bloody hell. Well, people in the chat, how do you feel about, like I said, the poll? I think everyone's agreed. We are happy at it, but people who's watching, how do you feel about staying at Cigar? Are you happy? Are you cheesed off? What's your thoughts now? Please hit the like button as well, people. Helping about, please hit the like button as well. Well, there's a lot of incomings and outcomings, and Des has been very, very cool about players going out. But I don't know. I'll go for Des last. Players like Lee Cartier confirmed today. Lee Cartier's left. Mangala's left. Vlach is left. Anyone else left?
McKenna.
Aguilera is left. He's gone to our sister club. Yeah, he's gone to our sister club. We brought in Elliot Anderson. Is that? We brought in. Is it Silva, the right winger as well? There's lots of about.
We did sign our player, but loaning straight to Olympiacos to me.
Yeah, and Olympiacos. Yeah, that's. I will be doing a video. I will be doing a live stream with an Olympiacos fan and get the details on how they're feeling about what's happening with us and what's happening with them, blah, blah, blah. So watch out for that as well. Murillo, how are you feeling about what players left, players come? How are you feeling about it? And everyone in the chat as well. How are you feeling about players left?
Right.
Come and go. You want to get involved.
I like to deal in facts most of the time. So until I see, I used to say, till I see them waving a scarf on the back of the Evening Post, I'm not interested. But now it's obviously when I see it on the official website, I think we've done what appears to be very, very shrewd selling. It's not popular opinion, but I've thought for a long, long time, great character, but Near Carty's not good enough. He's a poor man, Steve Chettle, I describe him as. He's got a club foot like Steve Chettle sometimes had. He's a poor man, Steve Chettle. Steve Chettle could head a ball consistently, but that's being brutal. I probably, if he was still a Forest player, I'd probably say it in a softer way. But I genuinely never
do you agree with that? Yes or no? Come on, Campbell, sorry.
You can't tell. Steve Chettle played 500 games for us when we were third in the league and regularly in the top 6. There's no comparison. He's a poor man, Steve Chettle, by a long shot. At least Steve Chettle did a job at fullback when he had to early in his career. When he played fullback at Villa, he got destroyed. As a character, I quite liked him, but I'll never forget that Villa game away at Villa Park last 2 seasons when we first came up. And he tweaked something, and it was like he thought he was going to. He walked off the pitch, left us with 10 men, didn't he? I thought, that's the last we'll see of him this season. He played less than a week later for 90 minutes. And I thought, has he got the the minerals for this league? And that's what it comes down to. I think it'll be a bit like that lad we let go to, where did he go to? Valencia, was it? Or wherever it was, the Spanish side. And everyone, he should have given him more time. He should have played for us. He's played in the cup final. He scored against Man United. And I'm like, yeah, but it's a different league. The pressure.
Remember Balde?
Yeah, that's it. The intensity and the pressure in the Premier League, some can hack it, some can't. And you never really know until you get there, unless they've already done it. To get 20 million, if that's what we got, for a squad player, as somebody just said, yeah, he's not a bad squad player. But I would have Obama-Deli ahead of him. I'd pick Obama-Deli ahead of him, who cost half of that, and to get I don't want to talk too much about PSR, and that does my nut, but to avoid PSR as we appear to have done without selling a single player that would be a first pick is brilliant stuff. Yeah, and the same for Mangala. A really nice, tidy. I always thought with Mangala, you had 3/4 of a really good midfielder, didn't you? Because he received the ball in any tight space and found a yard of space beautifully. But what he did next was inconsistent, and he wasn't particularly good defensively, in fairness. But I'm saying like I'm running down players because we've sold them. But if we want to develop and improve, with all due respect, we need certainly better than Near Carty. And I know I'm his biggest fanboy, but I think that defensive midfield slot, or certainly one of the midfield slots, because I know Des disagrees with the position, is our, watching Kante at 48 years old, we've got the next Kante, I believe, in Danilo. I think he's absolutely athletically, vision. He just doesn't always put it all together yet because he's only, 21, 22. But I think he's got everything to do that. So we don't need Mangala.
He's not a number 6. Kante is not a number 6. No, Danilo is not a number 6.
Kante
is not a number 6. No, Danilo is not a number 6.
No, I'm telling you, he's got all the attributes of Kante. He's played that position all his career before he came to England. People only say that because of the errors he's made.
Put a chat. Is Danilo a number 6 or a number 8? Please tell me if I'm wrong.
I've not even said it yet.
No, don't it wrong. No. Let's see. Wait. Go on.
What?
All I'm saying, right, to be a really, really good defensive midfielder, you've got to read the game and you've got to have certain attributes. Some of those attributes only come with experience and playing. I get that. And that's what he's been lacking. But he's shown every aspect to his game that he's got it. He just hasn't always put it together. And even a game where people were slating him, like away at Everton when he struggled a bit, he was a guy who put that unbelievable pass from the right in front of his back four through to Hudson-Odoi when he got snapped in half and didn't even get the penalty. But we watch him defensively. I know I'm a sadder. I watch every game in the week afterwards on TV as well, after being there live. And the way he protects it, the way he fills gaps, and what he's got, he's nearly all legs as well, isn't he? He's not very tall, but he's all legs. He's so athletic. I believe, and he's coming to terms with the physicality. I genuinely believe he's the guy to link defence to midfield and further up the pitch as we move up the pitch, because he's got everything, absolutely everything. The only thing he lacks is height.
No. Steve, what do you think, Steve? Des's got a paragraph. Steve, it's Danilo number 6. Yes or no? People in the chat, is Danilo 6 or number 8? Go on.
Number 18.
Well, he was in Brazil. He played there for him.
He's not for Forest. Yeah. No, he's not.
Since he's come to Forest, I think he's had so many players in front of him who are trying to battle for that position, being 6, 8, or even a 10. And I think it's just, with Danilo, it's finding that spot for him and nailing it. And I do agree with Marlo in the sense that he can, if he puts his mind to it, he can nail that number 6 spot. Is he physically enough? Is he up? Because we've mentioned Sangare and his other players, you've got to be physical in that position. You've got to win that ball. You've got to get stuck in, which I think he can. But it's for him to nail down, because we've been talking about this for months and months and months. Who is going to be our number 6? Des has mentioned it many times. Who is going to be that number 6? It's up for auction, and I think he can be 6, Ben. But I think his vision of pass, I'd push him further up. I think he can find a pass.
That's what I mean.
In our team, I think there's too many players who slot in behind him more. Then I think if we push him further forward, being a 10, maybe an 8, maybe a 10. I think he suits our team further up the pitch, because he has got that pass, which he can get. He can thread a pass through. So for me, Ben, yes, he can nail a number 6, but for me, I'd push him further forward. But can I just say there's one player in the World Cup that's really impressed me. I think we should have an eye on. I think Des might agree with me. Is this guy for Switzerland, Freuler? He looks quite decent. I think we should look.
Nemo's coming back. He's coming back. He's coming. Nemo's coming back.
With him, he'd be the type of player we'd sign and we wouldn't know where to play him. Oh, sorry, we did that. Yeah.
No, he hasn't got. He's not a Premier League player, though, is he? Let's be fair. Unless he was playing for Man City or someone. He does not. He's another example. I really like Boyle in a lot of ways, but he did not have the right attributes for the Premier League. And when he came here, it wasn't his game. And you'll hear all the FIFA generation go, played him in the wrong position. Playing in the wrong position doesn't stop you able to pass 5 yards, does it? Or win a tackle, or win a header. All those things you've got to do here. But for Switzerland, he's buzzing around doing great things while other people are doing that side of it. So I'm not having that. I really liked him because I met him once. He's a really nice fella. I'll always remember that man of the match performance against Liverpool in that one-off game when we won. But he just wasn't a Premier League player. And that's what I'll say about Nick Carty. He'll do really well in France, but he's not a Premier League player.
Nick Carty. You're about Nick Carty, yeah. You know Nick Carty.
For them. They're not Premier League players.
Remo will come back and he'll prove you all wrong. And when he just do well for us, I'm going to come back and tell Des, there's your player. There's your star player. There you go. Des, Des had a little rant. He had a little moan about it. Tell what was he moaning about Nick Carty? I think it was like basically what Milo was saying, basically.
Oh, so we'll come on to the number 6 thing in a minute, will we?
Yes.
Right. So no. Everybody's like wishing them well, and we're losing these superstars, and they're helping us out of PSR. I don't think they've ever been that committed, Dore, to be honest. And like Molo says about Steve Chettle, some of these players we didn't appreciate in past times, and again, let's not harp on too much about the past. These players can't touch them. Do you know some of the players I've seen at the City ground? Mangala, I'm sorry. Do you know, I used to watch proper midfielders. Do you know, Chris Bart-Williams, Steve Hodge, do you know, Neil
Neil
Webb,
Webb.
people like that. And yes,
Scott
don't get me
Gemmell.
wrong, we're
McKenna.
in a different generation. The football's different, but they've not been around long enough to lose any sleep over. And if they're getting us out of this mess that we've been put in, and again, God forbid you get me on a PSR rant, because I hate it. I hate talking about it. I
That's a
hate
different
thinking
show.
about it.
That's a different show.
Right? I hate talking about the whole thing. But if selling those two gets us out of a mess and means we've got better chance of keeping others, then goodbye. You know, they've not done enough. I don't think the application from Nia Carte was there. I don't think, like Murillo said, when he walked off the pitch at Villa, there's lots of rumours about when he was
Unforgivable.
injured and what he was doing in his rehabilitation. You know, there was the Newcastle game where he stupidly gave away a penalty. You know, I don't think there's a bad footballer in there. I just think it's nothing to lose any sleep over. He's not in for his best two defenders, you know, because that's Bolly and Murillo. And other than that, Omar Badadale is young. Other than that, the rest are surplus to requirements now because we've got to get better. And it's the same with Mangala. Molo is spot on. There's half a midfielder in there. There's definitely not a number 6, because he wins the ball and he gives it them straight back. So but before you finish clapping for what he's done, you're pulling your ear out, you know, because he's gave the ball away. And unfortunately, in the Premier League, the biggest thing you have to do is keep the ball. You give the ball away, you can see goals. Do you know, the first season we were particularly bad at it. Last season we got a little bit better somehow, because there's two things Forest need to do in this transfer window, because that's what the question was centred around. They need to keep Morgan Gibbs-White, because without him, whether he looks like he's playing well or bad or indifferent, you know, we don't score goals. Chris Ward, for all he's done, and Tyro, for all he's done, have got a lot of thanking of Gibbs-White. He sets up most of their goals. They need to keep him, and they need to find a number 6. The number 6 is killing us. You know, the number 6 role is absolutely killing us as a football side. Whoever plays on that football pitch, if the defence is getting overrun, the strikers have got too much to do. There's players in there. Mangala was the best of a bad bunch at playing number 6. Yates is not a number 6. He can go and chase people down higher up the pitch. Danilo, for me, I get where Marlowe's coming from, and I know we've had a big disagreement in the past. I get the number 6 thing. I get the thing about being leggy, and his concentration's not there. And again, he gives the ball away too much.
Yeah.
There are things you can work on and get better, but he'd have to show us that over a period of time. But what I like about Danilo playing at number 8 is the way he links up with Gibbs-White. The end of that first season, when he was running off Gibbs-White, scoring goals, you know, the Brentford goal last season, popping up on the edge of the box, volleying it in. I like that player running because he's the only one who runs from midfield as well. So yeah, I get some of the points for number 6, but he's a runner. You know, he is leggy. He gets in the edge of the box. Yates is a runner, but he's a bit different. He's going looking for the ball rather than sort of getting on the end of the ball, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then Mangala and Sangare can just go, right? Because he's not going to be any kind of player. I'm sorry. You see players sometimes, and KC said this last season. Unfortunately, you're going to get hit with some flops. You spend that kind of money. You know, Steve mentioned how he read football and told us things that had happened. He says you get hit with flops, and unfortunately, that guy's one of them. So Forest really need to fill that position. And I tell you, if they fill that position, they're 10 times a better side. They are 10 times a better side. They're 10 times more solid. So games like Spurs, where we're in it for a little bit, and then a couple of lapses of concentration, we're out the game and it's 3-1 before you know it. Yeah, we still might lose that game with a number 6 in there, but we might lose it 2-1. It might be on the percentages, you know, we might win it. We might have a better chance of winning away. This is why we can't win away from home, is number 6 is still not sorted. Plug that hole with a quality player who can pass a football, you know, and we are such a better team. Gibbs White comes into his own. The ball goes out to the wingers quicker. They're rapid when they're on song. They're unplayable at times. Do you know that trick from Hudson-Odoi and Elanga? Do you know we're seeing the rumours about him and how he's been admired. His numbers stack up, and I think you fill that and get someone zipping the ball to those kind of players, and Danilo and Gibbs White, and getting it up front quicker. We become a mid-table side because I think there's a nucleus of a really good side, but some of these players who we're pinning all our hopes on just aren't the answer. And I think we need a bit more Premier League experience. I love the signing of Elliot Anderson.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't like him when I saw him play for Newcastle because I thought he was an arrogant.
He played well. Yes, to be fair, he did play well against Forest.
But I've seen him a couple of times. I thought he was arrogant, but that's what Forest need as well. Do you know, you don't like it when it's in the other team, but when it's in your side, it's a bit different, isn't it? Do you know, so we need a bit of that sort of, we're here to stay here. We're here to stamp a mark on the game, that kind of thing. I like him. He looks a good player. Good bit of business. Again, let's not go into PSR because I think the whole numbers thing makes a mockery of competition of football, full stop. But then I'm not going to get into that. So for me, good business, you know, outwards, not going to lose any sleep over. I've made a comment in a group to you yesterday, Dore. I nearly lost my shit as a kid when Lars Bohinen was sold, and I've still not got over it. You know, because he was a proper player. He was a proper player.
People in the chat, do you remember Lars Bohinen? The young people won't, but the older people will.
But these guys...
Did he go to Derby, Tez? Did he go to straight Derby?
He went to Blackburn.
No, Blackburn.
And Blackburn then Derby.
For small money.
Yeah. But
he had an
I ain't going to lose sleep over. They've done okay. You know, we'd hope they'd take us to another level. I don't think they did. I don't think they were much better than what we had. And for the kind of money we're getting for them, you know, wish them well. Obviously, Mangala's got a bit of ability. You know, he's in the Belgian squad, and that's full of talented players. But he's not doing it in the Premier League. Like Milo says, can they really hack the pace of the Premier League? If you watch the Euros, do you know what I've noticed watching the Euros? Everybody stopped running. Nobody runs on a football pitch anymore. You know, it's not just England.
Football. Everybody.
Did you watch France versus Belgium? Nobody ran ever, apart from Mbappe a couple of times. And I thought, you know, and this is the problem with midfield now. It's all this tippy-tappy. Get your crisp passes out to your wingers. Let them go. Get the ball forward. We've got battering rams to score as goals. Get that position sorted. We finish at least 12th.
Well, just I've got some chat. Hi guys, sorry Ben, I have to agree with Molo. Yeah, I've got to agree with Molo. Providing a good improvement for another, etc. So we can nail down number 6. No, he's not. He's not a number 6. He's a number 8. I think he's number 8. Him and Dominguez. I think the play is exactly the same. But the problem is, like I said,
Dominguez is another one, though, isn't he? That I really like Dominguez when he plays. He blows hot and cold.
But everyone assumed he was a number 6, and he's not a number 6. He's a number 8 because he likes to run around. But
Dominguez and Yates are high pressers. They're players for the high press. So we've got a fan base who crow about the low block and all this nonsense, all these new terms, right? If you want to play high press football, you play Yates and Dominguez.
Yeah,
because if that's what the problem is with England right now. We're all seeing it unfold on the TV. They're not playing high press football because they ain't got the players to do it.
Yeah, 100%.
And they're all one-footed, except for Bellingham.
Yeah, true.
Go back to Dominguez, though. Don't you think? Because say one thing about Dominguez, I like him, but he's a little bit. I hate to use this word because of what the connotations are of it in years gone by. He's a bit of a utility midfielder. He looks comfortable right across. He's done a job on the left, and he's even done a job on the right, hasn't he? When we've had that shake midfield, he hasn't really nailed one down. And the thing about he rarely has an average game, does he? He's either really, really good for a while, or you think, Christ, What's happened to Dominguez? He's very up and down. But a nice player. But if a good offer came in for him and they've got something lined up, it wouldn't be the end of the world again. But he's one who's kind of on the fringes of the first team, that not just through injury, though, isn't he? Whereas near Carty, you need a centre-half to be injured and out for him to get a game.
What I think with all these players is, let's face facts for a second, right? We finished one place above the relegation zone again, point deduction or not. We need better players if we're going to move up the table. They're playing. We've had these players for a couple of years, or variations of it. It's common sense that if you want to improve, you need better players. So some of them who are playing in the first team have to leave, because you need better players. It's that simple. So these guys haven't done a bad job, and I don't want to be too critical. They've not done a bad job in what they've done. They're like Dominguez. I'm with Murillo, tidy player, but we can't be using them all over like Danilo. Let's start nailing down positions and making them like some sort of structure within the team, that he plays there, he plays there, he plays there, especially in that midfield area. And then when you buy a player, you're buying them to compete, not to sort of jiggle them around and put them wherever they're needed for a week.
Don't you think there's some of that improvement, though, that you talk about better players can come from these, I think, some of our really exciting younger players gaining Premier League experience and getting better? That's not just Danilo. That's obviously Murillo. Even look at the massive improvement that someone like Williams made. I would argue, and a player I really think is super talented but hasn't done it consistently for us, is Ola Aina. I know he had injuries in African nations. That there were times last season where people were arguing the case for Toffolo ahead of him, with all due respect to Toffolo. Do you know what I mean? And then you've got the two wide men. If those two wide men are able to hit form at the same time as well, at some point, that would be a sight to behold, wouldn't it? Because one was superb in the first half and one took us down the home straight. And fair play to them. They've had really promising first seasons. But don't you think, I've named about 5 players there, Des. Couldn't some of that better players come from within, with more consistency of their level of performance from the I don't mean from the average ones, the talented ones.
I think Hudson-Odoi, for as well as he finished, he weren't. We finished on a high with him, and he's been linked with other clubs. But let's be realistic. Over a season, it was patchy. Elanga, he's either Elanga, it just sparks into action. He doesn't do it consistently. So, like the Newcastle game, he was unplayable. And the thing for Elanga is his numbers always stack up. He always seems to be on assisting or something. So you're exactly right, Murillo. But I think, going back to my point about the number 6, that's what helps them players become more consistent. Because everybody knows the role within the team. If they know that they're the first pick until somebody comes along who's better or in form, or they lose form, they know they're going to get the ball at the right times. They know who's playing in midfield. They're building up partnerships. You've played football. Football is all about partnerships, whether it's centre-backs, midfielders, strikers and attackers, wingers, full-backs. It's all about partnerships, because you start understanding people's game. You start knowing where to play it. But all that midfield is all the time, which doesn't help everything around it, is a midfield merry-go-round. And I totally get what you're saying. That's where I'm saying we've got the nucleus of a really good side. And that's why at times last season, when I was doing my little report, I kind of lost my shit with them a little bit, because it felt like the application wasn't there. But whether that's their application or the manager, the team, what's being put out there, the application on a whole, it just felt like it wasn't there. Because some of them players on their day, Tyro on his day, is absolutely unplayable. The two wingers are unplayable. Oloaina, when he gets going, Murillo. These are top players. They're all still raw, but that's why they're playing for Forest as well. Because they're raw, they're playing for Forest. When they're the finished article, they'll be linked with Liverpool and Chelsea and Real Madrid, like they are being.
Before we do go, I don't know if anyone's seen it. this is from Jack. A shocking comment from Murillo. Like he doesn't know where his ambitions are. That's where aiming for top 10 still. I don't like that. I've seen there's a video of him saying he wants to be. It was looking to play for Forest for one season, then basically move off. Basically, that's what was quoted. And there's a video of him sitting in Brazil. We all know that he's going to leave soon to whatever top 6 team or move abroad. Steve, what do you think of Murillo? People in the comments, what do you think? Do you think he should stay for us one more season or cashing on him? Because he is a talent, but there's still a few things that he needs to improve. Steve, what do you think?
That comment he said, I've seen a lot of people online saying it could have been a lost in translation kind of thing where he was trying to get a point across, but it came across as in saying, I just want to use Forest as a stepping stone for 1 year to go on to somewhere else. So I haven't heard or seen the interview myself. I'd have to look at it myself to kind of get a gist. But if he's saying something like that, then
so what he said, no, I've got a quote. I've got a quote. Basically what he said.
Yeah.
Forest are stepping stone to play for one season. Then he wants to play. He wants to play for a team like Man City or Liverpool or someone like Arsenal as well. That's what he's quoted for. Sorry, Steve.
Right. If that's quoted, I'd sell him because clearly his heart's not in it, and it goes back to what I think it was Molo said earlier about the Niakates and Mangala. Have they been really soaked from the beginning? Are they really heart's been in it? So clearly, if Murillo said that, then I'd sell him. Even if we get, how much we signed him for? 12, was it? 12 to 15? I mean, if we can get 50 to, which some numbers I've heard, 50 to 70 million, that's one hell of a profit for a player who clearly wants to move on, and good on him. If he wants to go play for the likes of Man City, Barcelona, good on him. He's a talent. He's got a lot to learn. I mean, you can't make mistakes in them kind of teams that he's done for us. He will get absolutely butchered. So they'll work on him, obviously. I'm not saying that. But if he wants to make that jump so quick, he has to hit the ground running because they'll be brutal in them clubs and they will loan him out.
He won't get in their team.
They won't get in. Yeah, exactly. So for me, Ben, and I agree with Des, keep Gibbs White. We have to keep Gibbs White. If we keep him this summer, he'd be our biggest signing. I'd rather sell Murillo than get rid of Gibbs White. So Murillo for me, if he had said that, cash in on him, and then with the money reinvested, we can build. Then we've got some players in defence. Add another couple of defenders in. I mean, a name now has been mentioned cropping up is that Jake O'Brien from Leon, is it?
Yes.
Now his name has been brought back up because there was early rumours that he was going to be used in the Akate deal, but obviously that's not gone through. But that rumour's coming back up again. So if we go in for them kind of players, that's the thing I've been on about in this channel for a while. And we've signed Anderson from Newcastle. These are the kind of players I've been saying for ages. We've got to go for these talents, and they British boys. I'm not being thing, but I think Des summed it up when he said on a comment he said before about we signed a lot of foreign lads who come over just for a 1 year like a Murillo. We need to sign players who are soaked on the project and not just going to move on to another club or want to go back to abroad because they get homesick. So, and that's not being, if you want to say, I'm not being racist or anything against foreign players, nothing like that, right? So before people start shooting me down, it's just I'm on about, this is a really important summer for us to get our recruitment right, because as Forest fans, we know we just end up buying 15 players and 8 of them will make it. The other 7 will get loaned out, or they won't even touch the first team. And where will they end up? Do we end up selling them next year then? And just get it right. Just sign better quality players instead of quantity. Quality's got to be over quantity this summer. And keep Gibbs White. Sell Murillo then, if he said that. And just start building a team and just nailing these positions, like Des said, about the number 6, get another striker in. I mean, I'm assuming this keeper now is going to go over the line with the Brazilian boy.
Yeah, he's travelled to Nottingham yesterday.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm sure there'll be other names floated about now in the coming weeks, and we have to wait and see. But this is so vital. Our third season in, we got to get the recruitment right, and I just hope we don't go down the route again of just signing just for the sake of it. Just get.
I think what
Yeah,
Steve's sort of getting to there is forgetting anything about nationality. The key point in all of it, what I didn't say it before, and Steve probably hasn't said it in the way I'm going to say it now, but it's Premier League experience. I know it comes at a premium,
yeah,
but there's one or two like Anderson. Effectively, he's worth 10 million. We kind of know the way it's worked. So there's one or two bargains out there. You can't put a price on Premier League experience. And Forest need to get that, to get savvy in this league. Look at Bolly. It's been an absolute revelation. Still can't keep him on a pitch long enough. But when he is on the pitch, look at Serge Aurier, the first season. Yes, he lost a bit of that application. He went back into Serge Aurier, and his head went. But that Premier League experience was so important. And again, if it's a case that I know he's had a bit of Premier League experience, it's a case of getting those players and becoming Premier League savvy. And what we do every time we spend 15 to 20 to 30 million on someone from the Dutch league or the German league, you're taking a massive, massive risk. And not one of them, apart from Tyro to some degree, has come off. Not one of them has significantly improved. The one that has, the one player that has is the one you were talking about in Murillo, and he obviously, his stock was already quite high anyway, if we were talking in those terms. But no problem. I'm an old fuddy-duddy when it comes to sentiment around the City ground and Steve Hodge and Lars Bohinen. I've got no problem with a modern day footballer seeing things as stepping stones, because that's the way it is. They have to go through the processes, and teams, especially with PSR, teams are happy to buy and sell. So I've got no problem with him thinking, I want to play for Man City. I'm going to go to Forest for a season and do my thing. If he's that confident in his own ability, but we all know football can bite you on the arse sometimes. So if I was Forest, and that is his mentality, not because I'm bitter towards it, I'd say, right, we're going to cash in now, because anything could happen next season. He could have a massive dip in form. Some of his frailties could be even more highlighted because it's second season and he should have learned this by now. He could get injured. So if that's kind of where he's at as a player, not out of spite or bitterness, I'd say, cheers. Let's pull in another 60 million and let's get one or two other positions, or his position and another position sorted with the money. So that's just the way football is now. I've questioned the application of the team at times. When it wasn't going well, look at Fulham. You could have put a fair few players up in the same bracket. So that all boils down to wanting to play for the club and wanting to play for the manager and being in a successful team. We've seen over the last couple of seasons at times it hasn't been the case. So Murillo's not on his own. What he has done on the pitch to sort of dispel any of that stuff we're hearing now, he's performed. He's performed way above and beyond. There is still frailties, like I say, but he's still performed on the football pitch. I'd have bigger question marks over the commitment of some other players. Even if Murillo sticks around, his stock is likely to rise despite all those things I've just said. So I think there's other players you could point that finger at in terms of commitment. And football's just not like that, is it? These days, players don't stay at football clubs for 8 or 10 years unless your name's Ryan Yates.
Ryan Yates. People, right? I think we've got over the hour mark. But like, it's been a fantastic show. A good hour. But if you are really watching this, and if you think that you agree or disagree, whatever Des says, I know you disagree with anything that you just say. Please get in the comments as well. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Marlo. Thank you, Des. Thank you, myself, for coming back. Like I said, I'm back doing videos. I am back doing videos. I am going. Marlo, are you going to Chesterfield away?
No.
You sad person.
Don't do friendlies.
Oh, you come on. You
I might go to one in Spain if it fits, because I'm over there anyway. But no, I've learned my lesson. I hate pre-season friendlies. I hated playing in them. They're crap. There's nothing to play for. I hate watching them. I paid, was it 15 quid for that Notts County one last season because I hadn't seen Forest play for ages. and I think there was 3 tackles in the whole game, if you could call it that. Hate them, absolutely hate them.
Marlo, we're going to win the league. If we win these pre-season games, we're going to win the league. Okay, don't worry about it. We're going to win the league.
Yeah, to be fair, how brilliant was Niakate in pre-season when we first signed him? Didn't someone on this channel, possibly above it, call him the Beast?
The Beast.
He looked really good in pre-season. And then that first game against Newcastle, he looked absolutely lost and absolutely garbage. But he did get better than that, to be fair, when he recovered. But there we go. No, I don't do pre-seasons anymore. I've learnt my lesson. Unless it's somewhere sunny that happened to be at the time.
Oh, God. Right, so I'll be there. Stig, are you going just for away or are you working?
I will be, Ben. I will be to any of you. No, I'd probably be watching them somewhere. If I can try and get up with it, yeah. Try and watch it somehow, yeah.
Yeah, it's pointless asking this guy because he's always there. Right, before we did go, I've had enough with Des Oldham. People in the chat, do you think Des should start his own YouTube channel and start doing football? Because he's good at it. So, people in the chat, do you think Des should start a YouTube channel? Because he does his before and after games. So, if you're all rewatching this in the comment section, say Des yes or no, start doing his own channel. I've told him and he just doesn't want to listen to me. I don't even listen to him.
I'm just about able to cope with the stick I get after my post-match reports, Dore. I'm just about able to ignore it.
You got any time, have you,
Des? Absolutely. Marlo knows how hard I work at.
No, people, Des has got the time before and after the Forest game. Don't
Des, when we finish here, me and Jem are going for a run, just so you know, coach.
I think Des should do like a cookery one because dining with Des sounds. I know it's got a catchy sound to that. Dining with Des. Des is such a good name. You could just dial in. You know, have we done Des in the past? You've done dial in with Des and all that kind of thing. Dining with Des. I like the sound of that.
See,
what's Des having for tea tonight?
See what I mean? I bring the idea up. People in the chat get Des back on it. So
I can't think of a good term for Des on a match day though. What could it be?
The problem is right with any of this stuff. If I do something, I have to do it to the nth degree. You know, I run, so I have to go and run coast to coast. That is definitely dropped in on purpose, by the way. So you give it a shout out, Dore.
Oh yeah, Des is doing coast to coast. When is it, Des? When is it?
It's October. Yeah, back to him because you've been slacking. You've been slacking as well, people. So Des needs to get back on the run. Marlo, keep him in check, please, because he needs to get slacking a little bit. But if I did a channel, I'd be doing it all the time.
What do you mean? Just stop slacking. People in the chat, like I said, told Des if he's on Twitter or Instagram, just put Des' own channel. Make it a hashtag or something.
Des, you got so many options, Des.
Yeah, you got so many options. People on Twitter.
You could do one, right? You could do your entire day. You could do it when you run in, go to the match, and then your after match meal there.
Exactly. Easy.
All that running you do in your car, you must ignore the carbs.
Right, people, I get going. Thank you. If you are new to my channel, please do
quick one in there, Dore. Can I drop a quick one in?
Yeah.
About the reason I'm running. I won't say running with Des, but trying to keep up with Des sometimes is raising money for a dementia charity because it's probably going to hit me soon. But that's why we're doing it, me and my wife, because we've been hit by people in our family with dementia lately, or last couple of years. Plus, a big Forest fan that I knew quite well back in the day who recently passed away having had dementia, not much older than me, believe it or not. That's why we're doing it, but I haven't put any links or anything, so look it up on something.
Okay, I will do.
Can I just say two things before I go as well? The first thing is I pulled England in my sweepstake work, and the second thing is come on, Scotland!
No. I want Remo to score. I want Remo to score just to piss this guy off. That's all. Remo, it's got a great goal against. Who was it? Spain. Was it Spain? Great goal for Remo. Fantastic goal.
Italy was, Ben.
Oh, Italy.
He miscontrolled it.
Do you know the thing with Foyer is, again, he wasn't a number 6.
Oh, get quick this up, Jeff. Right, I'm going. Thanks very much for people. Up the Forest.